Hello and welcome along to the Bunch of Punts Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. First off, we'll be building an ACCA, just me and Matthew this week, combining on that. And then second half of the show, we've got cards, goal scorers and a few other singles worth flagging for this weekend's action. Let's get into it. Matthew, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. We spoke about it last time, the busy sort of midweeks when there's EFL and Europa League, sort of just waiting for the week to go over. Got a good weekend ahead then on holidays, so just slowly watching the clock tick round.
Germany in it next week.
Yep, and another new country for me that I haven't done, so I'm buzzing for that. A week
Yeah.
off finally.
Week off, another country ticked off. Yep. Worth saying actually, while we're on the subject, we're going to give ourselves a break. I say a break from what? Just degenerate gambling. Yes, a break from that. And we're still looking for the first ACCA win last weekend. Arsenal got up to 0, shock. Aches rogue shout at Douglas Luiz in the ACCA. That got off to a terrible start because he came off injured. His replacement didn't get subbed, and then I think was it goals in the Filed game let us down. That ended 1-0. But we'll try and get a winner. The main point of the restructure was less actual bets. We'll try and just give it so many long shot options just to try and give something different. But it's nice getting some shorter ones on side, wrapping them up in an ACCA. But the volatility in doing 4, 5, 6 folds can be brutal. But I feel like we've been getting closer. So
like we said before, you only need 1 or 2 ACCA wins a season to be in profit for ACCAs because of the odds. So it's not something we sort of won't change our methods. We just got to keep plugging away, I think, at the ACCA.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking now. This is the thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've done 6 ACCAs, ranging from odds of 18 to 1, and the biggest one was just under 40 to 1. So as you say, you're looking 2 or 3. Three or 4 maybe over a season. Is it? How many weeks?
No, think about that. There's going to be about 30 games left.
Even if we only just 2, really.
Even if we just hit 1 at 30, we'll only be slightly down. Yeah, you only really need 1 or 2 really being profit. So
2 or 3, and
to the end of the season.
Yeah, I was just about to say that like football hasn't been footballing like usual this season. The craziness of all top 4 divisions, I think, is unprecedented in like the last decade. I'd say, aside from Arsenal. These first few weeks, there's just none of the favourites have been favouring really. League 2's notoriously unpredictable, but even League 1 with Stevenage, Bradford towards the top end, we're hoping as we like winter, Christmas turns into the new year, it'll start to take shape as expected a bit, because it's making gambling brutal this season. I've got to be honest, but it's good. It's good trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to find niche angles. I've sort of, in my group, I've sort of binned off EFL really. Like, I'll do props in EFL, but I've stopped tipping forward like goals and wins. You just can't. I couldn't find a winner to save my life in the EFL. It's just too unpredictable. Like, you could give me like flipping Coventry 2-1 at home to like the bottom of the table, and I'd still be like, oh no, it's just been mental.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It's funny you should say, actually, because what were Coventry at Wrexham? They were around even money, and they lost 3-2, and Wrexham.
Yeah, Coventry 2+ goals in that game. Luckily, I was torn between the win and the 2+. That shows right, but it's just been impossible.
Shrewd manoeuvre. You'll see it. Case in point, actually, in a bit when we get onto the singles, I've gone entirely cards and goal scorers, and I think you've only got one result and goal combo, and I think that just shows like where we're thinking the best places are to put the money at the minute, because it's that unpredictable. Having said that, it feels like a good opportunity to get into the weeds and try and find out whether some of these bigger prices are worth taking. Wednesday, a big price. We'll get onto it in a minute at Southampton again. There's a couple down the EFL, but again, we said it last week with the FA Cup, didn't we? Like, even the bookies, like, they're not like they're wising up to that. They're just factoring it into their prices now, and it's just the value has always been hard to find, regardless. But yeah, it's just brutal. It's brutal. Anyway, we'll start on the Prem. ACCA, anything sticking out up there for you?
Nothing I like in the Prem for me. Oh wait, too fair, I forgot to check who Arsenal are playing, because we just do the Arsenal to 0. depending who they're playing.
Arsenal at Sunderland, 5:30 kickoff. That's made you a little bit uneasy, hasn't it?
I don't know. Like why it should. It just depends on the pricing, really. But Arsenal is short.
So we
1.9.
talked about this on the. I was on the Betfair show Thursday, and like before you get into the weeds of bets and all the niche stuff in the Premier League, because there's so many markets available everywhere now. I like to get one straight off the bat, like a traditional market, both teams to score, one that's fairly confident and gonna like get like. It's nice to be agreed with the rest of the panel. So my strongest pick were Arsenal to nil, even money at the time. Done it last 8 games, 13 of the 16 wins, all been to nil. Not conceded since they went to St James's Park, Baltimore's header, and that was mid-September, I think, off the top of my head. So did all that spiel. Next up, Lewis Jones' head basically is on the complete opposite. He just don't think a team at this level can continue with a run like that for that long. And you find yourself sort of like, shit, yeah, he's absolutely right. I'm wrong here. But his point basically was, at this level, you can't have that sort of consistency. But on the other hand, Arsenal only conceding 1.56 goals, expected goals against per 90. Sunderland, this is like the Premier League has followed suit, barring Arsenal, in being unpredictable. Sunderland's only real test was Chelsea. They came from behind to win that game. But of the big dogs, I'd say Liverpool, having won the league last season, are in that category. Got to put Man City for the longevity under Pep, even though they have fallen off a cliff. Like, this is the first sort of big fixture, you know, going into the season. So it'd be interesting to see how they do. Having said that, they've scored in 7 of 10 of their games. So I get why you'd want to swerve this.
But what I will say to counter that point, I know it sounds stupid because like betting is basically based on what's happened before a lot of the time statistically, but it's like every week is a clean slate for Arsenal. It doesn't matter. They could have like it doesn't matter that they've won 7 in a row. It shouldn't affect what Saturday's action, if you know what I mean. Like no. I don't know the correct way to word it, but just because it should not luck, but like just because they should concede soon, nothing suggests that they will, if you know what I mean. It's obviously then you're going to concede at some point, but I just think it's one of them you just keep playing until they concede, I think.
Yeah, well, this is what I was kind of worried about when they played Slavia Prague in midweek. Without being disrespectful, statistically, they're sort of on a par to Burnley, I'd say, sort of lower end Prem side.
Yeah.
And I think they had 3 shots on target, but I think watching the highlights, did they get a pen that got overturned? I think.
Yeah, it was Lewis Skelly. To be fair, it was Lewis. That was the difference, because Lewis Skelly was sort of in the team, sort of keen to impress, and he had an absolute stinker off the bench. I really rate Lewis Skelly, but he was took too many risks, whereas a player like Calafiori at left back won't be doing that. If Calafiori would have clipped it down the line or played it rather than trying to win the foul. And I think that's the difference. Arsenal have got 4 defenders that do the basics well. And yeah, I just think Sunderland are good, but against Everton, first few, I wasn't too impressed. I think Sunderland will sit deep and look to frustrate Arsenal. And again, at first I was a bit uneasy, but as you said, it's like 8 games in a row now without conceding. I think it's one of them you just take. You take until it leaves, really.
And the other thing I was saying, like the other day, was like you can't take anything away from Sunderland's start. The amount of signings they made over the summer, like Reggie Labrie, absolute genius. It has to be said. But you just look at the home fixtures, right? They've scored in all of them, but they played West Ham, Brentford, Villa when they was on a stinking run. I think Matty Cash actually scored their first goal of the season in that game, a long range strike which deflected. Wolves and Everton. And on the face of it, no disrespect to Sunderland, you can only beat what's ahead of you, what's in front of you. But like that's a nice home run schedule wise. Especially when you look at who they've got on the horizon. Next 3 games at home: Arsenal, Bournemouth, then Newcastle. So yeah. And then even having said that, the goal that got them back into the game against Everton, Granit Xhaka deflected strike from outside the area. So yeah, they'll be disappointed with that. So I'll put it in Arsenal to nil for the time being, 10-11. No pressure to keep it in.
I've got another Prem one that I've sort of looked at potentially now. Because like I said, we sort of you sort of have the base of what you want to take, but we're sort of freestyling the ACCA. Brentford draw no bet at home to Newcastle is just above evens. I've obviously seen Newcastle at the Amex firsthand, and they were atrocious. Like, we're shit, and we sort of, I know we scored late, but it was quite a comfortable come to afternoon. Newcastle had a 10-minute spell where they looked good. Other than that, I was really, really not impressed with Newcastle. Watched them against West Ham. They were diabolical. Eddie Howe just can't figure out how to sort of play away from home. They're taking 3 points away from home, all coming from 0-0 draws. They dominated Villa, to be fair, in the opener, but couldn't find a way through. Leeds, the 0-0 away at Leeds was just a really, really poor game. Newcastle hardly generated much. Then they went to Bournemouth after a midweek Champions League game and just parked the bus. It was, again, a terrible, terrible game. They've then went and lost to us and then lost at West Ham. So taking 3 points from 5 away games, 3 of them coming from 0-0 draws. They're struggling to score. They're playing really poor, and they're against a Brentford side who, at home, have won 3, drew 1, lost 1. The only loss coming at home to City. They've beaten Villa at home 1-0, drew with Chelsea, beat Man United, lost 1-0 to City, beaten Liverpool at home as well. So they've already playing quite a few of the big six and sort of seeing them off with ease. And I don't see why it's going to change against Newcastle, especially with sort of the injuries Newcastle are having. They're just coming off another European game. It's the sort of game I can see Eddie Howe will just want to come away with a point and go into the international break. And I just think odds against for Brentford draw no bet is a nice way in against sort of a fragile Newcastle team on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle's home and away form chalk and cheese. At St James's Park, Newcastle have only lost Liverpool, Arsenal, won their others, but as you say, away from home, winless, lost their last 2. Draw no bet. Well, 0.0 Asian handicap, shade over even money. I'll put it in. I'm just thinking stylistically. I don't know who Eddie Howe will play up top. Did Faltamada play midweek? I don't know.
Yeah, but I think so. But he subbed him off for his subs against West Ham, which is odd. Like he's subbed off Faltamada at half time for Osula. And he's just sort of running. Yeah, Walter played 83 minutes midweek.
Yeah,
they played their strongest team: Bruno, Tonali, Jolin, and none of them have really got a rest. Gordon's been shit this season, but he's now injured, so it'll be a makeshift front three.
Yep.
Burn came off with injury. Yeah, I just think I think just put it in for now, and then we can always reassess.
Yeah, no. All I was gonna say is because I don't think he entirely trusts Osula yet. So if it is Walter, like the way he plays, you're needing runners off him, and who's it going to be? Barnes and Murphy. I'm just not sure if like Newcastle are going to have enough tactically against Brentford. I think Brentford are going to be able to deal with that. So yes, I like it. That's it for the Prem. Friday night game in the Championship. That's going to be too soon, so we'll ignore that. Watford v Bristol City. What's standing out for you here?
I had Derby double chance, but I know we said sort of no rules with the ACCA, but especially I think in the EFL early kickoff is so unpredictable unless there's like an absolute like standout banker. I don't want to take any early kickoff, so I did have Derby double chance at Blackburn, but I'm not confident enough to put it forward. So yeah, nothing from the Championship for me.
Yeah, the Birmingham prize at Borough was sort of a bit interesting, 17-10. Obviously, after they won the last 2 games, 4-0. The only thing is with that, I was sort of not hoping. I've got no stock in it. I don't care if he stays or goes, but I mean more for this angle. If Rob Edwards did go to Wolves, I was sort of thinking, yep, that'd be one worth considering. But with him staying, I'm not bothered about that. I didn't know whether we should go in on Wednesday. They're away from home again. To price, you can get them 1.25 head start on the Asian handicap 1.92. You can take them a plus goal. All the same reasons as I said last week against West Brom. They're just very decent away from home. Since we previewed the West Brom game, they obviously drew at West Brom, drew at home to Norwich. Like, since they've gone into administration, the feel-good factor's back. And I think, actually, the 1.25 goal handicap has been a part winner in all their away games. They lost to Charlton and Leicester on the first game of the season by 1 goal margin. So I didn't know if that was worth considering. The only thing is, Matthew, is Southampton. Like, you've got to balance anti-post, like your understanding of teams with what's actually happened. And Southampton have taken 14 points from 15 games or 15 points from 14 games. I can't remember which way around. They've been pretty much poor for the majority of the season. But they are massively underperforming their expected goals. They've got some unbelievable strikers. They've just got rid of Will Still. I don't know if that's just enough to put me off. I don't know. I don't know what you think about this one.
First, I didn't like, but then looking, Southampton's have won 1, 2, 3 games all season, and all of them have been 2-1 victories, so only by 1 goals. If you go the plus 1.5 for Sheffield Wednesday, which is 1.70, it's won against Southampton every game this season, which I don't mind at all.
Yeah, and
The
that's won on all the Wednesdays away as well.
yeah,
Clean
so you're
win.
getting a perfect record. When does it get to a point where I think Southampton have been lucky because they've conceded more than they should have, scored less than they should have. But when does it get to the point where it got to the point where we had it with Brighton? They just don't have good enough players in the final third. Like Bazanu in goal is a disaster. Harwood Bellis Stevens having poor season. Yeah, when is it not just bad luck, but just bad players in those areas, if you know what I mean? So again, it is a price I like, Wednesday plus 1.5.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just looking. Shea Charles out injured, Ross Stewart out injured, Leo Scienza, who's
Oh,
been
he's so good.
he's really good. He's been a rare sort of positive from the Saints season. Who scored have got him ruled out of this game? Obviously, Wellington suspended. Cameron Archer's a doubt. Like my nagging doubt with taking the Wednesday handicap is they created so little at West Brom. You're sort of hoping it's more about can the opposition score. And I was sort of thinking Southampton have got enough quality to make something from nothing, but have they? Because all the rare bits of quality, like the good players of this season, are apparently out. So I feel like we're talking ourselves into this one.
It's one that again we can put and then whittle down if we need.
Yeah, boy. Before we get out of the Championship into League One, League Two, and beyond, it was one that got flagged on this week's ACCA, which I didn't hate. Ipswich at Southampton. The sort of complete opposite of Southampton. Similarities in they both came down from the Premier League. Obviously, brilliant squads, high expectations. Both made slow starts, but I don't know if McKenna, unlike Will Still before he went, if he's just started to figure out. Because the one thing these clubs have to deal with, and it's a brilliant problem to have, is you've got loads of money. You have to deal with a lot of squad churn, but you can sign loads of quality. And I think McKenna's just getting to that point of Ipswich now where he knows the best team. I saw a clip Gab Sutton were talking about on, what is it called? The Betfred's thing, Sportsman, is it? He was saying he feels like McKenna's just sort of figured out the best balance, not necessarily shoehorning in the best players, but he's just finding the perfect balance of his squad. Gab referenced Jack Taylor playing in the middle of the park alongside Matu Isiwa.
But then he dropped. Taylor and Nunes had really good games against QPR, and Nunes scored a brace, and he dropped both of them midweek.
Yep, I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah, they should have been.
Yeah, but they're now free unbeaten. I don't know, just a shade over even money away from home against this ridiculously unpredictable Swansea side that sort of evades rhyme or reason or logic. So yeah, I just wanted to flag it. But
I don't mind the price, but it's one. We've already had 3 stronger angles in my opinion, so it's one that I'm not too keen on for the ACCA.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll put it in, we'll take it out, but I'm just going to leave it out. I just thought, to be honest, I don't know if we're going too soon after the changes in midweek on Ipswich, but it feels like they're one of the teams right on the cusp of just about starting to catch fire. Anyway, into League One. For the meantime, at the minute, we've got Barnsley, Arsenal to 0. Brentford draw no bet Wednesday plus a goal and a half. That is 6.650. Into League One then. Anything here for you?
Yeah, I've got one selection. Huddersfield at home to Plymouth. Huddersfield, before they won in the EFL Trophy, they'd lost 5 in a row, one of them being the EFL Trophy. One was away at Bolton in the Cup. Their 2 at home, they won 4, drew 1, lost 2. Their 2 home losses came, obviously, that ridiculous game against Bolton where they conceded 93rd and 95th.
Oh, do you know that game? I was on them draw no bet. I could not believe it. Anyway, go on.
Because you do shot on target, so buzzing that one. And then the one against Stockport, lost 2-1. They've been shit, but I think the reaction's needed. They're at home, and it's just mainly how bad Plymouth are. They've lost the last 4 now. Away at Wycombe 2-0, away at Mansfield 2-0, away at Plymouth 2-0, Exeter 2-0, and at home to Wimbledon 2-1. They've done a lot of travelling recently, and again, with how the distance, that'll take it out of them. Away from home, they've been poor. They beat Burton 4-0 in a outstanding performance, and sort of a massive smash and grab against Luton, 3.16 to 0.95 xG, and they somehow won 3-2. They're very, very poor on the road. They're conceding a lot. I just think it's a game where if Huddersfield are serious about promotion, it's a game they should be winning, and I think they will win. And yeah, 1.83, I think I was expecting a lot shorter.
Yeah, this one's caught me by surprise. I didn't have it jotted down even when I was sort of making picks. But just a word on Plymouth's form. So from the end of August to the start of October, they had a real good patch where they beat Blackpool. As you said, Luton, they beat Stockport the week before. They lost to Peterborough, and then they battered Burton at home. But I remember being like really across them at that time because I really wanted to figure out like what are they going to do, which way are they going to trend, because they started shite, and then on the face value it looked like by mid-September, where you can't score 4 against Stockport and then 3 against Luton and then 4 against Burton and not be a decent team. So I've proper looked into it, and the Stockport game, own goal, 2 from outside the box, not a lot of XG racked up, and then they did score another from outside the box, but it was a 1v1. As you said, against Luton, extremely lucky. I mean that in the nicest possible way. Everyone at the game will have known how lucky Plymouth were. Anyone watch the highlights, you must know how lucky you were to score a winner where Bradley Ibrahim knows nothing about it. It's come off the back of his head, gone over the keeper and gone in. I can't really speak to that Burton game because I don't know, but there was always an air of fortune or unsustainability, even when Plymouth were banging in the goals and they had that purple patch. And either side of those sort of, 6-game spell, late August, the entirety of September, they lost their opening 4 games, and since that draw against Wigan, they've lost the next 3. And to shed some light on why it might be, I remember Tom Cleverley just berating the absolute misfortune he's had with injuries. I don't know how they're looking ahead of this trip to is it North Yorkshire, Huddersfield, West Yorkshire, somewhere in Yorkshire. I don't know how they're looking injury-wise, but they might still be short. So
yeah, I just think got to oppose Plymouth whilst you can. It's toxic there, and like I said, the amount of away games they've had recently, it's a lot of travelling for them. Again, it's one that I was surprised at Huddersfield not being shorter.
Yeah, the travelling's a great point. I put it in for now. That takes us to a little over 11-1. Right, I'll do a safer one. Stockport over even money at home to Luton. Relatively straightforward. Stockport under Challoner. Always start slow. And when I say slow, sort of like 1.5 point per game, maybe 1 point per game, somewhere in between that, 1.25, sort of like opening 10 games of the season, usually somewhere between 15 and 24 points maybe. I ain't got the stats to hand, but that's always how it goes. And then suddenly, as sort of we move out of late summer into autumn, they find their best team and they start cooking. What are they now? 3 wins on the spin. If you take out the Paint Trophy defeat, they've won 4 in a row, won 5 of their last 6, unbeaten since that game against Plymouth at the start of September in the league. And Luton, similar to what you said, Matthew, actually, about when Luton went to Mansfield and Clough schooled rookie manager Jack Wilshere. I just think Challoner's just got too much experience and now for his opposite number here. And even looking at Luton's early results under Wilshere, schooled at Mansfield, made a right dog's dinner of that game against Forest Green. I could just see him 1-2-0 loss at Stockport. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It's not one I had penciled in, but I can't really argue against it at those prices. Obviously, I love Stockport. I saw them on TV against Port Vale, and they were brilliant then. So I don't see any reason why it shouldn't beat. You have me looking. Actually, I'm adding something to my look. Actually, no, I won't add it. But
keep having a look because there's another game I want to mention in this league. I'm not sure if I want to get involved in terms of an ACCA. I'll just have a look. I have tipped said team that I'm about to mention on the nose in a column. And it's a team I like in these circumstances. I want to take on Bradford. They host Burton. And it's just something about Burton at big prices in big games away from home where they're worth taking. Wimbledon, based on pre-season expectations, not a good team, but they've shown to be a very tough team to beat at home. The Brewers went there and won. They thrashed Bolton at home, beat Cardiff away held Huddersfield to a 0-0 draw, and they were very unlucky not to beat Stockport. I think they led at half-time. They had a man advantage, and then at Norwood and a Diamond, both worldies from memory, I think was why they lost against them two. That said, like Gary Bowie's team aren't invincible. In midweek, Rotherham came from 2-0 down, snatched a point late on. Same thing happened at Oakwell, led 2-0 at half-time. Barnsley beat them 3-2. These aren't great teams, but it just shows you the vulnerabilities. And then, having said that as well, at home they got battered against Plymouth, a game we talked about, got battered at home as well against Luton, but I don't want to put too much stock into that. It's more about Burton and their ability to contain and counter on the road against the best sides who will fancy beating them. And I think Bradford have drawn the last 4 games on the spin. They're still creating loads. They've had a couple of attacking injuries to contend with, but they've certainly proven that they belong towards the top end of League One. But yeah, it's just more about Burton. You can get them. You probably, like, for the sake of the ACCA, it's a bit short, but 1.65 goal head start on the Asian handicap. I just wanted to flag it, but I don't know. I think even for me, like, I'd just rather take them to win the game, because if they lose, I don't know if it's going to be one of them where they lose by a couple. Do you know what I mean? It's nonsensical, but do you know what I mean?
One of them I'd like as a single, but not for the ACCA.
Right, sound. Anything else in League One?
No.
So at the minute, I'm going to leave Burton straight out of it. We've got 5. Arsenal to 0, Brentford draw no bet, that's Sunday. Wednesday, goal and half handicap against Southampton. Huddersfield to beat Plymouth. Stockport to beat Luton. 24.5 to 1 as we head into League 2. League 2, I glanced at it, didn't see anything I like, and fucked it off from a singles point of view, but there is a couple of prices if you're looking to get the favourites on side that are tempting. I'd say Chesterfield have been fleeting in between 7 to 10 and 4 to 6 at home to Accrington. Any interest?
Yeah, that's the only League 2 pick I have. I just think, obviously, a bit short for a single, but if we're talking ACCA, League 2's unpredictable. But Chesterfield are one. They've at home they're unbeaten, 4 wins, 3 draws, 14 goals, 6 conceded. I think when they drew at home to Crawley, I think it was. Let me check. I know they drew at home to Crawley because I had Chesterfield on my last man standing and it fucked me. And I'm pretty sure they dominated that. They drew at home to Fleetwood, sort of a nothing game, it seems. One of the draws was against Milton Keynes. Again, a nothing game, but Chesterfield were the better team. And then, yeah, they drew at home to Crawley 2-2, a game. So Crawley's rushed in. Crawley had 3 shots and scored 2 of them, compared to Chesterfield's 12. Chesterfield should have had a pen. Yeah, and they're playing Accrington, who've got 4 points on the road. 7 games, lost 5, only scored 4 away, conceded 10. Just Accrington are really, really poor. They needed extra time to scrape through Gainsborough in the FA Cup.
Yep.
Recent away games, they lost 2-1 at Fleetwood, 2-0 at Barnet. Their only win did come away at Milton Keynes, sort of when Milton Keynes were going for that sticky patch. But yeah, they're just very, very poor away from home, Accrington. Yeah, they beat MK, and then their draw was the 0-0 against struggling Shrewsbury, a game they should have lost by 1 or 2. I just think Chesterfield's one of these. It's just like single, you wouldn't take it, but for an ACCA, I think it's a no-brainer.
No, it's the only other one I want to flag because I feel like it might be a matchup going into a few people's ACCAs. Swindon 7 to 10 at home to Tranmere.
I did look, but League 2 is just too unpredictable, I think, unless it's like a thing like Chesterfield and Accrington. I don't know. It's one I like to avoid. Swindon are so unpredictable.
Yeah. So I was just looking. The reason I wanted to flag it, I don't know the answer, but Aaron Drinnan got sent off deep into stoppage time in the FA Cup game against Rotherham. Do you know if that suspension carries over?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't he? And he's obviously their creator-in-chief, and that's enough for me to potentially swerve it. I do think suspensions carry over from the league to the FA Cup, but I just don't know 100%. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case anyone was considering Swindon. You'll need to find out if their main man is in fact suspended. But we'll leave it out of this ACCA just in case. Anything non-league worth talking about for ACCA?
Yes, I've got a goals related ACCA in non-league that I'll sort of put on the Twitter as a giveaway, sort of. There's 3 that sort of won't make it to the ACCA in terms of my 3 strongest picks. Because the ACCA is just step 2. These are non-step 2 picks. So the first one is both teams score on over 2.5 goals in Morecambe Sutton. 1.8. Morecambe have just been crazy for goals this season, both for and against. Scored 22, conceded 42 in 16. Been a bit unlucky with a few of the results. Their performances sort of, they should have got more out of their performances. Got a 1-1 draw at Hartlepool. Yeah, their games are just mental. Can't be asked to do the maths, what the games average.
What price?
Written up.
What price did you just say? Overs and
One,
both teams.
yeah,
1.8.
1.8.
Right,
And
I
then
just
Sutton games are averaging just over 3 goals. Same with Morecambe. Sutton, I mentioned before, they've appointed, their games were good for goals already this season, mainly at home, but they've appointed Chris Agata. A 0-0 draw in his opener, just sort of, he was there for like a day. Then they do 3-3 at Farnham, drew 2-2 at home in normal time, 3-3 at home to Hartlepool, 3-3 against West Ham, lost 4-2 at Wildstone, beat Telford 2-1 and then beat Eastleigh 2-1. So goals galore under him, and obviously watching him when he was at Worthing, he doesn't have any structure sort of to his defence. It's good. It's a game where both teams, normally in a relegation battle, you think it's going to be scrappy and sort of both teams sit back and take whatever. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I think both managers have the philosophy attack first. Again, with both teams' goal records, both teams averaging over 3 goals a game. They both scored 22 and 17. Sutton conceded 33. Morecambe conceded 42. Two of the worst defences in the league. I just think, again, it's a really, really nice prize worth getting on board.
So, do you know the 1.8? It's on 365 now. It's 8-11 is 1.72 on
Is
mine.
it? It was just, it must have shortened like since recording. Yeah, it's still, again, it's minute difference in an ACCA, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah, and my other 2 non-league picks, which I think are strong. Wildstone, it's 1.61, but again, for an ACCA, it's worth doing. Wildstone has sort of been, them and Boreham Wood have sort of been the surprise package of the National League. They're up to 8th now, 4 points off the playoffs. I wasn't that keen on Scunthorpe before the season, but I don't think the top 7's going to budge now. There's already a 4-point gap between Southend and Wildstone in 8th with a game in hand. Wildstone are on the cusp of the playoffs after a midweek 2-0 win at Yeovil. And at home, they've been really strong. They opened with a 2-0 win against Truro before beating Halifax 2-1. Lost 1-0 at home to Carlisle and 3-1 at home to Rochdale. Followed up with a 3-2 win against Southend, drew 2-2 against Gateshead. They've also beat Sutton 4-2 at home, just beat Southend at home in the FA Cup. They're scoring goals at home, 15 in 9. And they're playing a Braintree side who are shocking on the road and in general. Braintree have conceded 2+ goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 6 of their league away games. 6 of their, is that 7 league away games? Let me check. 8. They've had 8 away games, in the league, and the only times they haven't conceded 2+ was away at Aldershot. Somehow Aldershot battered them, and then 3-1 away at Eastleigh. So they're playing a Wilson side who was scoring goals for fun. Braintree are conceding on the road. They lost 4-1 in the FA Cup at Chelmsford. It's sort of all going wrong there, and I just think, again, Wilson are a bit underpriced purely because it's a reputation thing. Many people expected Wilson to struggle, but they've proven this season they're not strugglers, so it's another price I like.
Nice.
And then final one, probably my strongest pick, Folkestone at Potters Bar, 1.8. I rarely take an away team for a win when they're odds on. I don't know why. It's just one of my rules of gambling. Stupid one. But this time, I just can't ignore Folkestone. I put them forward at I can't remember the exact price, 36-1 or something to win the league before the season started. I tipped them up. And now they've been battered into heavy favourites. They're 6 clear of third, 2 points off the top, but with 2 games in hand. And Brentwood are sort of punching above their weight, lost 2 games in a row now. Folkestone are just hard to beat. 34 goals in 13 games. Over the last 10 games, they've taken 25 points, scored 30 goals. They're sort of just battering teams left, right, centre. They've just beat Welling 3-0, beat Billericay 2-1, beat Lewis 6-0 in recent weeks. Went to Aveley and put 5 past them, a strong Aveley side. Beat Chatham away 2-1. Yeah, Folkestone are just unbeaten in the league still. Oh no, they've only lost to a # in the league still. Just very, very strong. By far the best team in the league. Can't see anyone other than maybe Dartford catching them. And then you've got Potters Bar, recently appointed Sammy Moore back at the club, but they're in dire straits. They lost 2-0 to Carl Charlton. Before that, 3-1 at Billericay, 3-2 against Aveley, 4-1 at Dartford. They've only won 2 games this season. They're really struggling, getting battered quite a bit. Could see a 3 against Cray Valley, 4 at home to St Albans. 4 against Brentwood. They're just leaking goals left, right, centre, and Folkestone is basically the best team by quite a distance in the league versus the worst team in the league, and you're getting 1.8. So it's one that I can't really ignore.
Yep. So with those 3 picks, the ACCA is currently 230 odd to 1. So we'll go back up to the top and work our way down. So Sunderland to lose to 0 against Arsenal. I think we're both agreeing that should be in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm happy to take out Brentford.
You sure? Because I didn't mind that.
It's a Sunday as well.
All right, yeah. That's more, that makes more sense. Sunday, yeah, fuck it off. Championship, Wednesday, goal and a half head start at Southampton, 1.7.
Yeah,
I see no reason to leave that out. Right, into League One, we've got a couple of 1x2, Huddersfield and Stockport, both to win. Don't have to be one or the other.
I'm happy to take both out, to be fair. I think Huddersfield's a stronger pick because Luton, unpredictable under Wilshire's new manager, you don't know what to expect.
Do you know what,
Again,
actually?
It wouldn't be 2 against leaving both out because Huddersfield have been a bit.
So
yeah.
if we're leaving Wednesday Arsenal in before we get... actually, I'm going to say it now. I want the Morecambe Sutton goals in because the way Morecambe operate, I just think that's a tap-in.
Yeah, I just think both teams, like Agata as well, the form under Agata has been mental for goals.
So at the minute, 8-fold, 112. We've got Huddersfield, Stockport, Chesterfield, Wilston, Folkestone, all to win. What are we getting rid of them?
I like all of them. You could take out the Wilston because it's a shorter price.
Yep. Because I think what you were saying about Chesney, you had it down. I think it's a decent enough price. Probably leave them in, and then it's just who else you want to take out. Do you trust Folkestone on the road?
Yes, like they're so much better than Potter's Barn. Are shocking. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat them like 4 or 5-0.
All right, they're in. And so it's back to, we're at 63.74 to 1. We've still got Stockport and Huddersfield in. I could try taking both of them out. Both of them out leaves us at 15s. 15, just under 16 to 1.
So what is the current?
So without Stockport, without Stockport and Huddersfield in League One, it's Arsenal to 0. Overs in Morecambe v Sutton and both teams to score. Wednesday, goal and a half head start on the Asian handicap, and then Chesterfield and Folkestone to win, 15.81 to 1.
I think unless you're desperate and we can add one of the League Ones in, but I think that's quite good.
No, yeah, like I like Stockport's price. Like you say, too much uncertainty for an ACCA. If you put them back in, it's over 30s to 1. Field, I don't know if I'd be a bit more tempted to put them back in, but then it's a 6-fold, but that takes us just under 30 to 1. I don't know how confident you are on the Terriers. I'll leave that one up to you. What do you think?
It's mainly a play. It's because the ones we've picked so far are basically like based on the strength of the team. With like Huddersfield, I wouldn't back most weeks. It's just because of how shit Plymouth are. So I don't think there's enough case to leave them in. Whereas Folkestone, I'd back against most teams. I'd back goals Morecambe against most teams.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, right, we'll leave it out. That is the ACCA then. So minus Huddersfield is Arsenal to win 2-0 at Sunderland. Wednesday, a goal and head start on the Asian handicap. Chesterfield to beat Accrington in League 2. Bowls, Morecambe v Sutton over 2.5 and both teams to score. And then Folkestone to win at Potter's Bar, 15.81 to 1. I'll put the screenshot of the bet slip at the end of the show so you can see all of that. I'm happy with that though. Right, yeah, that bet is on. So I've got that bet slip into the singles. I've gone card heavy. You've gone goal scorers, haven't you, this week?
Yeah, but I think because it's the early AM, I think we'll put. I don't know if you're having this as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So we both having a point on it.
Oh, the A League. I haven't put it in the record yet. Yeah. We'll do that.
It's 6 a.m. start, so make sure you get that on.
Set your alarms.
You early risers is well worth a watch. The Wellington versus Auckland. It's a derby. They've only had 3 games in their history, but it's a derby because of both being in New Zealand and sort of a no-brainer. We tipped up last week and we got lucky with a super sub. But yes, Sam Cosgrove card is at 6s, and again, it's too big to ignore. Rogerson came off the bench and got booked for him. So we got lucky, but before that, he'd been booked in both. I don't know what he got put for the second week, but first week I was watching the game, just slid through the defender for no reason. In 25 minutes this season, given away 5 fouls. Last season in League One, he had 934 minutes, 3 yellow. He's just a very dirty player, likes to get stuck in. It's always good to back sort of old English players in the A-League. So yeah, I'm having a point on him at 6s to be booked. And then the double, lost screenshot of the double, but
Do you want me to say
I'll
it?
get up now. What?
Cosgrove and Ifeanyi Eze.
Yeah.
Ifeanyi
That is a double, and it is, let me go up now, sorry, it's about 20-something, 29s. Yeah, Eze, he was signed, I don't know where he was last season, to be fair, but he's at Al Kark in Iraq. But yeah, he's signed this season for Wellington, and yeah, he's made an impact already, sort of in a couple of regards. But he scored on his debut against Perth. He was out on the wing, made 4 fouls, and somehow wasn't booked. Then against Brisbane, he had a really poor game. Played up front, was booked with 3 fouls, and then he played the 90 against Central, and scored, was up front, 2 fouls committed. But just looking at his duels as well, he lost 14 duels in that match. He's just, ground duels, 6. He lost 16 out of 18 ground duels against Brisbane and 9 out of 11 aerial duels against Brisbane. So he's constantly losing his battles against his opposite number. And again, it's leading to him 12 in the opener as well. So yeah, he's constantly fouling, constantly in duels. He's an all-action player, and in a derby like that, I can see it sort of boiling over. So I'm having half a point on that double at 29s, and then I'll have half a point as well on the treble with Louis Verstrate. So it's 90,
yeah.
It's 96s for the treble. Been booked in 2 of the 3 starts. So he only made 1 foul against Melbourne, was booked. Only made 1 foul against Western. So he's not cynical, he's not a serial fouler, but he's just sort of cynical with it. And against Wellington, centre mid's been booked every game against Wellington. So for a treble, 96. Verstrate, half a point on that.
Yeah, that is lovely. Obviously, it's a bit cheeky, but I'll be matching those stakes on that. I love them picks. I love them picks as well. But it is a bonus because when I just backed it, it was 80s. But since we've been recording, it's gone up to 95. So, yeah, for some reason, don't tell them, but the Bet365 bet builders sometimes don't react to that, so you can cash out for a full stake. Reback them if they do change prices. Worth knowing. It always happens with the keeper cards as well. Yeah, so but keep riding this Cosgrove train in the A-League. Set your alarms or make sure you get it on because, as Matthew said, 6 a.m. in the morning for the big New Zealand derby down under.
And all 3 should, Eze's had 90 minutes every week. Cosgrove started all 3, and that other geezer's 90-minute man. So all should start and get the 90. Even if you don't have super sub, it's still a bet worth taking.
Beautiful. Right, I'll keep the card theme going. I still don't know how to play these. I think I'm going to do the singles and the Trixie. So we'll start off with Millwall Preston Hughes card, Andrew Hughes card. I don't know what is going on with him, but for some reason he just gets loads of bookings these days. Is it 6 in 13 this season? Cards per 90 of 0.47. At Preston, he's averaged 0.21 cards per 90. I think he's played sort of the last 5-6 seasons there. But before that, he played 11 seasons. He only got 21 cards, 0.07 cards per 90. So around about the start of the 21-22 campaign, he just started picking up cards. So 21 before that season, 31 since. No more than 5 in any of those previous 11 seasons. No fewer than 5 in any of the ones since. Like I say, even if you base his price on his average on a whole across the last 5 seasons, it's too big at 5-1 with Sky Bet. But based on this season alone, like if you literally translated it, you'd be much closer to 6-4. So worth taking. But I have been trying to get to the bottom of why you start picking up cards so often, and it might just be because he's nearing 35 years old. Because I was thinking, has he been moved out to left centre back? But no, he played there under Lowe. He even played at left back at his previous club. So I don't know why, but he's just been picking up cards.
Midweek was a thing.
You what? Sorry,
I think he was put for dissent in midweek.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so, unless I remember it wrong. But yeah,
Yeah, I was at a bonfire, so I just had to check just if he'd be booked when I got back in, and I was just relieved to see he had. But yeah, worth to keeping taking him at 5-1. It always feels like once you've been paid out on a bet like this, like maybe you should just cool it. We're backing it, but if the price is there, you just got to keep doing it until it goes. Where you taking is next?
well, I will. I completely forgot about that bet because I've tipped that in my Paddy column, early kickoff
Yeah.
column. I'll be matching your stake on that as well. But yeah, I've got a few, but I'll stick with the card theme as well. Biggest game of the weekend, Palace Brighton, is on Sunday. The most intense rivalry in England as well, and I am definitely looking forward to the game. Yeah, no
Are
one
you
really
going?
understands.
Sorry, are you going? By the way.
Yeah, I was debating it because I go every game, obviously, but after them doing the double on us last year and winning the cup, it's just not going to be an enjoyable experience. But I have to go, and I think we're going to get battered. But yeah, no one really understands the rivalry though. But obviously, to Brighton and Palace, it matters. And I think obviously it's been a rivalry ever since I've been a kid. But like growing up watching it, it'd always be Dunk versus Zaha, sort of like the two local lads, and it's sort of Brighton players would take it in turns to wind up Zaha, Palace players would try to wind up Dunk. And obviously since Zaha's gone, it's sort of lost a bit of that magic. But there's certain players that just get it, and for us, Joel Veltman's one of them. Missed both games last season, and that was sort of telling. When we played Palace at home, he pocketed Zaha. It's one of the best performances I've ever seen at the Emirates. He had Zaha wound up. It's not hard to do, but yeah, he had him rattled, and he's back fit. And I don't know whether Hursley's going to whack him in at right back because Weaver's been playing all right. But if he does, I like this price even more. But even without, it's still a nice price. So it's Pino to be booked at 4s. So we were on him quite early this season, weren't we? Like we noticed in his sub appearances that he's making fouls and cards, and yeah, he's just he likes to get stuck in. He's made 1.76 fouls, 76 fouls per 90, 2.13 tackles, and 0.3 yellows per 90. Last season, La Liga, he averaged a yellow every other game, 0.51 per 90, and 2.26 fouls per 90. I just think he's one of the players that he hasn't performed that well in terms of his output attacking wise, but he sort of apologised to Palace fans about that. But they love him because he's just a player that works hard. He's a silky little player, and I think he's going to want to try to scoring in this game. He'll sort of be loved forever by Palace fans. He's going to sort of want to make his mark, and with his card record, I think it's a very big price, especially if Veltman is on that side. He likes to wind players up, get them booked. But yeah, so I was a bit surprised when I saw Pino at 4s, considering how short some of the other prizes are. So yeah, I'm having a point on that for Sunday's derby.
Lovely stuff. I'm going to have to join the Palace Brighton party because it is a game that is just rife for cards. Last 4, averaging 6.75 cards per game. Was there 2 or 3 red cards the last league meeting? 2? There were definitely 2.
Nketiah got sent off 78, and then Gay got sent off late, and then there was 12 minutes at a time. Gay got sent off like 90th, Van Eyck got sent off 90th. It was just cards everywhere. Like, but people don't understand it. It genuinely is a very. Like, I remember we played them a few years ago. Sanchez, sort of when Sanchez was our goalie, he was sort of offering out all the Palace fans and players in the tunnel, like had to be dragged away. Knockout should have been sent off after 10 seconds one year. Just flew in. It does. Obviously rivalries these days lose their magic with you get players coming from abroad that don't really care or don't really get the rivalry. But I think both sets of players have got that. We got Veltman, players like that will understand it. Palace have got a few. So I think it does have real potential to kick off again.
So, player you mentioned there, Gay, got sent off last time. It's actually been booked in the last 3 games against Brighton. And given the rivalry, I think that's just important to mention. But I was wondering why he's such a big price because he's 5-1 with William Hill to be carded. And it's not a player I've ever been across his cards record, but he got 10 last season. Had a relatively well-behaved season the season before, but in 22-23 he got 8. Last season on loan at Swansea in the Championship got 8 as well. So he's more than capable of racking up the cards. And with his record and the price, most importantly, I think he's worth putting forward as well in that game. So yeah, Gay joining the card train with you. I just had a quick look. I've only checked Paddy Power because it was something I flagged up. Given how the last game ended between you two, I didn't know if the red card each team was worth visiting, but 85s on Paddy Power. I'm not sure you get much over 50s. I'm don't think that's worth putting forward. What do you reckon?
It's not one I take because it was sort of The Nketiah one was a second yellow. Gay was a second yellow. Van Eck just a lunge on a yellow. So all of them were second yellow. Sort of. It was quite a chaotic game. I can't imagine it being like this year.
Yeah, right. Sound, but that is definitely, before we move on, Palace Brighton, when you got the luxury of team news, it's worth having a few hours. I think the three I put forward on Betfair alongside Gay, Munoz, and your left back, I forgot his name again.
Adioglu.
Yeah,
You look
just
like
worth it,
him or
innit?
not?
Me
Or
and
twin
him.
Taddy. Yeah.
Oh no, what does he look like?
He's more handsome, but you got the you've both got the scraggly hair.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
He's got a bit more curly hair than me, but I like it. Yeah, but defo, that is probably my top tip of the show. Just wait for team news, have a few hours. Even players like Mitoma, like he concedes a lot of fouls. I just don't like any big prize. Just have a few hours. It's worth
He
it.
wins by the top off goal as well, like for a lot of players.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. If the game's in the balance, do a top off goal or two as well. Yeah, I'll need to set a reminder
I
on the
wouldn't be
phone
able
for
to
that.
because it's such a derelict shithole there that you can't get service. But I would be having Tommy Watson or someone in play for a gold card. Gomez gold card would be a good one.
Yeah, he might start I think Mitoma's gonna.
Gomez
I think
start.
he's gonna go straight into the team if he's fit.
Nah,
But
you won't.
no.
He would drop Gomez.
All right, Gomez gold card would be a good one. Welbeck, I'm not sure if he'd be a good one.
Nah,
Munoz would be a
he's
good
too
one.
nice. No, we're not backing any players. So I've got a few goal scorers, but I'll do my final like non-goal scorer one. I mentioned Folkestone earlier, but I'm having them win and over 3 goals in the match at 3.75. That's with Bet365 and 1.5 points on this. My mate's been banging the drum about spread X all week, and for months. It's not a bookie I'd ever tip like forward, but I take a lot of personal non-league plays on there now because there's so many markets. You can back team goals and both teams score in step 3 as well, which you can't do Bet365. So spread X might have it priced. I would ladder Folkestone goals on there, but Bet5, the best option to do is win and over 3, which I still like. I won't go into too much detail after speaking about it already, but 34 goals in 13 games, including 18 and 8 away games, where they've picked up 17 points. Potter's Bar lost their last 4 because he did 12 goals in this time. Second worst defensive record in the league, conceding 32, but they've also scored 20. Their games have averaged just shy of 4 goals per game. Would not surprise me to see Folkestone spank them about 3 or 4, but Potter's Bar always good for a goal, even if Folkestone just win 3-1, the bet cop. So yeah, Folkestone winning over 3 at 3.75 and 1.5 points on.
Lovely stuff. Right, I'll wrap up the rest of this card, Trixie. First one, Jack Taylor. Ipswich go to Swansea's 11-2, 365 for a card. We just don't know if he's going to play. We already pissed off at McKenna for dropping him in midweek, but having dropped points, you'd like to think he'd come back into the base of midfield, and he's got cards per 90, 0.37 at Ipswich. Like, his game time with him being signed as they went up from League One and then playing in the Premier League, his game time's fairly stinted. Like, he's not played tons, but to get like cards per 90, 0.37, that's like you take 2-1 based on that. That's a massive average. And even having said that, he's got 2 in 5 starts this season. He got 10 at Peterborough in his last full season playing regular football, sort of being a bit part player at Ipswich. But I think, like, surely McKenna can see, like, he's crucial to this team based on me wanting to tip him to be booked, me wanting him to be booked, and their results with him in the team, they just look a better team, and that's reflected in the results. So hopefully he plays, and if he is at the base of midfield, as we hope, he should be covering Ronald and Franco, and I think they're drawing about 4.2 fouls per game. Good referee as well, Edward Duckworth. 6 cards in his only championship game of his career, averaged over 4 a game. So that's a big price. The other one is Lewis O'Brien. He's 5.5, so 9-2 with Sky for a card. I also like his goal scorer price, same firm, 8.5, half a point on that. And then naturally the goal and card combination, about 36.5 to 1 with Paddy Power. I'll be having half a point on that. He started in midweek, didn't do very well. I don't know if he's going to be one of the players who falls out of favour as Parkinson sort of gets the grip on exactly who his best team is. But when he does play, he plays quite advanced, more advanced than he's sort of forged a career off. And 13 appearances now this season, 3 goals. He's also got 2 assists and he's picked up 4 cards. So he's pretty all action. And from a goal scoring point of view, his price is just too big. It's like 0.26 goals per 90, 0.2 expected goals per 90. So whatever way you look at it, this price is too big based on his current form. And he's got cards per 90 of 0.34-ish. So all these prices are too big. So yeah, and I think the card goal doubles landed in two times this season. So definitely worth combining them. But just to round that off, it's anytime goal scorer price, half a point, 8.5 decimals on Sky. Same firm card, 1 point on that at 5.5. And then the double goal card. I think you're getting best prices on Betfair and Paddy Power. It's tracked as 36.68. But that'll fluctuate. It might go up, might go down. It's always changing on them firms. Half a point on that. And then the Trixie, so that's Hughes, O'Brien, Taylor, Championship card Trixie. You can get 148.5 decimals, that is. Half a point on across the whole Trixie. So working to 25 quid, it'd be about 6.25 on each of the combination of doubles and trebles. That is all my bets. Boy, what else have you got for us?
Yeah, I'll rattle through my goal scorers. And when I mentioned earlier, when you mentioned Stockport, I stumbled across a bet I liked. So I'll put that forward as well that I hadn't planned to. In Fanny Dabo, great name.
Fanny Dabo.
Swear it is that. Yeah, it is. Lamine Fanny Dabo. Or just Lamine Fanny. Yeah, he was signed. He impressed in Sweden in minimal game time. They got signed by Luton. Hardy played last year, but sort of has been brought in the team recently and sort of been not a mainstay in Wilshire's team. I got 60 minutes against Mansfield playing a bit deeper, so didn't really do much. But then it seemed he was pushed further forward or part of a midfield three with Saville and Clark and got a goal against Northampton, the only goal of the game. Found himself in a good area, got 3 shots. And then obviously it's Forest Green who are league below, but he got not last minute, he got the opener against Forest Green as well, 3 shots there. So he's got 2 and 2, and he's been pushed forward into a 10. And it's a surprise. I don't think bookies are clocked on. Obviously they're playing a strong Stockport. And I was expecting like sort of a shorter price. So I was just scrolling down whilst you're talking about Stockport, and I can't remember the exact price, but he's 12s, I think, for a goal. And I think if he's playing in the 10s, he is 12s for a goal. I mean Dabo. So I'll be having half a point on the Fanny Dabo. And then the other ones I've got written down. Patrick Kelly to score for Barnsley at Donny, 9-1 with Sky at half a point. Played 30 games for Donny last season after signing from Coleraine in Northern Ireland. Of those 30, only 15 were starts, and he only scored twice. This summer he signed for fellow Yorkshire side Barnsley and sort of adorned himself already to the Oakwell crowd. He scored off the bench away at Bradford, sort of ghosted in the area, and had a start against Rotherham, 4 shots but failed to score. But I watched the highlights, I watched it back, and sort of I was impressed with how he broke out midfield. So you got Connell, can't remember who started against Rotherham. You got Connell, Russell, you got a combination of players, and he seemed to be the one breaking forward. And he's had 11 shots and 1.5 XG in just 383 League One minutes. I think he's a player that's going to slowly, because he's still young, he's going to slowly develop and sort of break out into a goal scoring midfielder. And against his old team, I think it's a perfect opportunity to jump on the Kelly train. 9-1, half a point. And then a few more goal scorers. I've got a treble. I liked all them singles, but I've just trebled them. You've got it written down. I can't remember the price of the treble. But Colton Morris, Derby at Blackburn, Thomas Sante, Coventry at Stoke, and Connolly, Leyton Orient at Wickham. It's about
64-1.
Yeah, so I'll rattle through it. Morris scored 20 goals en route to promotion for Luton before double figures in the top division. Struggled last season, only got 8 goals, but still good player. Signed in the summer, 9 goals in 14 starts this season with 5 in his last 3. Only Brandon Thomas Asante has scored more than Morris this season. So again, I'm taking Thomas Asante, form of his life. Only got 4 league goals last season, but he's blistering form, leading the line for Coventry, the best side in the league. He scored in Darn Embers in midweek to seal the deal for Sky Blues against Sheffield United. 10 goals already. Under Lampard, he's given sort of more attacking freedom. His player just likes to shoot on sight. He's averaging 3.38. But because of the shot volume, he's always getting chances. And I think 5-2 about him to score is big. Then I'm taking my favourite player in the world, Aaron Connolly, to score at Wickham. He was destined for big things at Premier League Brighton, and just him being an absolute bell end off the pitch, I've sort of seen him end up at Leyton Orient League One. And I went and watched Orient Donny, and I was blown away with how good he is. He's way too good for the division. He just needs to sort himself out. He's averaging 0.37 goals per 90, 3.8 shots, and he's just Wickham have only kept 4 league clean sheets, and Connolly is probably the best player in the league on form. And yeah, again, I'm happy to take him for the goal. Finally, I've gone Seong Ho Paik to score for Birmingham, 11-1, Bet365, half a point on that. Key part of the Birmingham side last year, 41 times he played. He only scored 1 goal last season, but he's seen an increase in attacking input. Tommy Doyle now anchors in midfield, which gives him more freedom. And the one they lost to Bristol City, he registered 2 shots before scoring from one of his 3 shots against Portsmouth. He had back-to-back goals, scoring the opener in yet another easy win for Birmingham against Millwall. And just the price disparity here, it's 11-1 on Bet365, but short is 13-2 with Sky Bet. So it's a big price, I think, 11-1. So I'm happy to take a punt on half a point.
I love all those picks. I was just looking at Lamine Dabo's heat map. 2 goals in his last 2, assist as well. And he's playing really high forward. That looks like a great last minute find. What a pick that is. Right.
Yep, I'll run that.
Yep. Right. That is everything. We'll not recap the bets. I'll put the screenshots at this point in the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see all the bets. There is a few duplicates. We've doubled down. Oh, sorry, my phone. We've doubled down on a few picks. That wasn't an earthquake. I don't know if you could hear that. That was just my phone vibrating on the side. Yeah, we doubled down on a few picks, so there'll be a few duplicates. But I'll just recap the ACCA that we did at the top of the show. Around 15.5-1. It's Arsenal to 0. Sheffield Wednesday, goal and a half head start on the Asian handicap at Southampton. Sheffield to beat Accrington, goals over 2.5. Both teams to score as Morecambe hosts Sutton, and Folkestone to beat Potters Bar Town in non-league as well. So I think it's around 15.5-1, but I'll put the screenshot on the YouTube video. Right, that's everything. We'll not be back next week. We'll be back in a couple of weeks maybe for after the international break. So yes, Matthew, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure as always.
Pleasure. And best of luck everyone with your punts this weekend. We'll catch you on the Flippity Flip.